The legendary one-of-a-kind Wilt Chamberlain played right here at Overbrook High School.
The whole aura of Wilt Chamberlain permeated the whole school. Everybody was excited about the possibility that we're going to have the greatest basketball player in history.
He was the dominant athlete in the United States at 17 years of age. By senior year, he was very full of himself because the world was full of him.
He was just a teenager, but he was already a huge star and the most popular kid at Overbrook High.
He can still grow, they tell us. A senior at Philadelphia's Overbrook High School, Chamberlain is an A student.
Wilt was a good student. In French class, he was always doing very well. He was well liked at Overbrook High School. The girls loved him.
One of 9 children, Wilt found solace and guidance within the nurturing atmosphere of his home.
His mother he really respected. She was the rock around him. His father was a laborer and worked hard, and that rubbed off on Wilt.
He not only was tall and thought of as unusual, he stuttered.
I'd like you to meet the Chamberlain family. Over here on the right is Mrs. Chamberlain. Seated next to her, her husband, Mr. Chamberlain. And on my right over here, the pride and joy of the family, Wilt Chamberlain.
He had offers in his senior years, 120 scholarships.
All of these letters here in front of us, where do they come from?
Well, from various colleges all over the nation. Some from the Midwest, West, even some from out east here, and even some from South.
Some from the South, too?
Yeah, some from the South.
But how many have you received?
Well, I guess a little over 100, I imagine, anyway.
Are these all connected with scholarship offers?
Yeah, they all connect with scholarship offers.
As a preliminary to playing pro basketball?
Well, not exactly. I'm looking for a school that I think I can get my best education out of.
The education is the thing you're interested in most?
Yeah, that comes first. Yeah.
The gym was very small, like a bandbox.
The end lines on each end were the walls. They had mats against the wall. So if you touched the mat, you were out of bounds.
And the stands are almost right on the line. When you're playing, the girls would tickle you. Up top, it was all steel. You could see the glass.
Things coming down like rings and ropes. So it was almost impossible to throw a full court pass.
No one had seen anybody with this agility. No one had seen anybody go up in the air and catch the ball at its apex and just bring it down. That was frightening. He was changing how basketball games were played in the mid-50s.
Scraping door frames at Overbrook High School, Chamberlain's career 37-point average overheated the imaginations of college recruiters across the country as he led the Panthers to consecutive city championships.
It's impossible to describe. There was no way of stopping him. In our gym, he could run the length of the gym in 4 or 5 steps and dunk the ball. He scored 90 points in 28 minutes in the high school game, and he had 15 points in 1 minute. Every time you opened up the paper, you would read something about Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt's toughest competition back then came in the summers, when he worked at the famous Kutcher's Resort in the Catskill Mountains.
I started playing against pros back when I was in high school. Up at Kutcher's, Red Auerbach was coaching me. He had me go against some of his Boston Celtics boys, and I used to like to try to beat him to death.
You saw a 16-year-old outplay 20-year-olds.
Against college All-Americans and kicking their butts.
Remember the name, Wilt Chamberlain. It'll probably make big sports copy for years to come.
And when he wasn't schooling the pros, he was the world's greatest bellhop.
He could hand the bags up to the second floor, and that would mean they wouldn't have to walk those bags up the steps, which was legendary back in the day.
Even at those hotels, he was a major attraction, and it was a good place to be seen.
He was a bellhop. Can you imagine Wilt Chamberlain taking your bags to your room?
I don't think these doorways were ever built for me, and I'm always constantly ducking.